All right, folks, I hope you're all prepared for this. CNBC makes the announcement. Energy expert Tom Clozo warns that diesel prices could go haywire over the next 100 days. Now, we are facing a huge, potentially catastrophic extinction level event with the current East Coast diesel shortage and pipeline transportation problem that has been announced and expanded upon by Mansfield Energy in trying to get fuel to states like Tennessee, states like New York, and the impacts and the potential problems that these could cause for all of us, and especially for our wallets and our paychecks and our savings and our credit cards and available balances. As inflation isn't high enough, we're going to see prices go up even higher. Although food is not included in inflation and CPI reports for good reason, because then our inflation would be more accurate than the 8% or 8.3% that they're claiming. No, it would be more accurate to the closer to the 50% or even higher that we are going to see as a result of this diesel fuel shortage problem. Now, Reuters announced that there's going to be a rush for renewable diesel, which may ignite fresh food fight. And it says that American trucking firms and airlines are on a course to consume more renewable diesel than biodiesel for the first time in 2022, marking a significant milestone, not just for the domestic fuel sector, but also for the global edible oil markets. Again, folks, the future of food. And this is what I've been talking to you guys about on a lot of videos here recently, but the future of food is simply just that: more expensive. It's going to cost more. It's going to cost more dollars. Think about how many hours you work now to generate the income that you receive on your weekly or possibly bi-weekly paychecks, and how quickly that money is gone. Perhaps for some, that money is actually gone before you even receive it on Friday or whatever day you get your direct deposit, or whatever day you get your check and you take it and you go to somewhere like Walmart or somewhere to cash it. The money, the time that you put in, the effort, the energy, the hours that you're working for these companies, these businesses, away from your family, away from your kids growing up, away from school events and sporting events, you're grinding harder now, working harder than ever for these hourly wages, for some salary, while each paycheck you get is being it's ultimately less potent, and the money doesn't go as far because of higher prices, inflation, where salaries and incomes are not keeping up with the increase in the price of the goods and services, and primarily food expenses, the necessities, the food, the water, the baking, the cooking oils, the pastas, the grains, all these important necessities, beans, rice, everything that this ties into this diesel fuel shortage is going to immediately link back to food, because food, the cost of the transportation of the food, the cost of the production of the food and the farming equipment and the diesel powered equipment that goes into it, these input costs are going up. Okay. While at the same time, you have the Fed pushing for folks to have less money, for folks to lose their jobs, for higher interest rates that make borrowing money more expensive to repay. This is this downward pressure. I don't know if you guys can feel that. Can you feel that? That downward pressure that's being put on us by the Fed, and probably you feel it more so for the families who don't have the financial they don't have the financial security as others, as far as whether it be savings and investments or income. But even still, if it's savings or investments, I think you're still feeling a lot of pressure, because you don't want to sell out of your positions in your investments now, not at the bottom. You don't want to sell out of your positions in your investments now at the bottom just to get money to hold you over. No, that's too much of a loss. That's too much of a loss, and it's not sustainable. And then savings, the pressure on savings. Well, if you exhaust your savings, when it's depleted, it's gone, So ultimately what it comes down to is the income. the income needs to be increased. Now, granted, obviously, we talk about budgets and saving money and spending less. And hopefully, folks are in a position where they have tightened up their budgets as best they can to a point of very, very minimal waste as far as spending and wasting. Don't go out. Don't go out and be like that woman at Walmart with a shopping cart full of crap and junk and garbage that you don't need. Come on now. Unless it's for a business purpose that you're going to use to resell and make a profit. But, don't be rushing out to go buy the new latest iPhone or the new latest Apple Watch or Modern Warfare 2 that just came out, which is going to cost you tons of money to buy, and then all these add-ons. Don't be going out there wasting money buying expensive coffee every single day that you don't need. These minor things, these Netflix subscriptions, Amazon Prime subscriptions, Hulu subscriptions, Disney Plus subscriptions, HBO Max subscriptions, all these costs, they add up. These little costs add up, and most people, these companies, they don't want you to know it. And most people don't realize, and they don't reevaluate it and analyze it. They just know that their bank accounts are being drained and their credit card balances are increasing because they actually don't know, because they don't look at it. This is part of tightening up your budget, because without that and without increasing your income, you are going to continue to feel that pressure being put on you by not only the Fed, but by the current administration, by global economic impacts through conflicts and sanctions and disruptions overseas in other countries that are affecting production. They're affecting consumption. They're affecting how much of our emergency resources and reserves we have available and we will have left, that the current administration is rapidly sending out to other countries, leaving us left holding the bag. And that bag that we're holding is becoming more and more expensive by the day. As the diesel reserves dwindle down, prices for everything else are going to go up. This is a cause and effect. This is literally a reiteration of the supply chain constraint pushing on demand, with limited supply driving up prices as folks' needs and necessities need to be met, but resources are limited. And businesses and companies realize this, and they know this, and they're going to continue to push while also paying higher prices themselves on the money they borrow to operate, because the Fed has raised interest rates. At the end of the day, there's a select group of folks out there who are at the greatest risk of this potential collapse. And those folks are the low income earners. Those folks are the underbanked or non-banked. Those folks are the ones in poverty on government assistance programs. Those are the folks that are at greatest risk. And if those folks, pay attention, if those folks are in the Florida area on the East Coast, near literally days away from possible landfall from Hurricane Nicole, then I would be very nervous. I would be literally, I don't even know if I would be able to sleep right now, knowing the threats that are rapidly approaching me and my family literally by the minute. So, folks, I can't tell you what to do. All I can tell you is share with you these news headlines and updates. Expect energy warnings of diesel prices going haywire over the next 100 days. So it's November now. So we're talking about into January 2023, we're expecting to see prices going up as we're going into the winter, as diesel fuel is going to be probably more needed in the colder months in the winter, and trying to deliver fuel and supplies to the colder regions of the country, and these foods and other materials and supplies. And fortunately, although we dodged the bullet with the railroad union strike, well, that just means that freight is going to continue to travel along and pass through these railway freight lines and make it to ports and hubs and distribution centers to be put on trucks, which is a good thing. But with that material, with that cargo, with that supply chain intact and rolling along, that just means it's going to put further pressure on trucking and a further need for diesel fuel, which will further reduce reserves and push towards driving up prices of fuel over the next 100 days, which will translate into higher prices for every single thing that we buy in the stores every single day. Plain and simple. This is what's going on. And if you're not doing what you need to do to tighten your budgets and make more money, then you're ultimately, literally putting yourself at great unnecessary risk.